I was wondering, again, with this influence of Western culture and technology, if you have any concerns about the education of young Tulkus and the maintaining of monastic culture.
Well, to say, these days, even I really don't know so much about how it would be necessary for the Tulkus education and monastic way. But I think for these days, when the technological and the materialistic is getting higher, I believe it's a little bit difficult for the monastic way to have a strong like a footing. And even though most of the young Tulkus and that, and even myself, we are now forgetting our old traditions, so this new influence and the materialistic is getting higher, so we more into the materialistic than our tradition. So I believe it's a little bit difficult for the Tulkus education, I think so, because now most of the young reincarnation, they're more into materialistic and that kind of thing, not much into the real traditional way, and they're more into like the teachings or the meditation. So I believe it's kind of weak right now.
So, do you have a thought about what would maybe be important for monastics in today's time to keep in their mind, to try to maintain
yes,
themselves as practitioners?
Yes, to know who you are, to know who you are and to know who you are named, because everybody has a responsibility, even a normal monk, just a normal monk has a responsibility to study, to become, if it's his wish to become like a teacher or anything, he has to study, he has to go through the 9-year philosophy. So that's his responsibility, and even to help for the monastery, even bigger than that, to help the sentient beings and like that, and even to serve his teacher, and his master. So I think that he should keep in the mind, and then really think that you have reborn as a human being. That is very hard to be reborn, and you, on top of that, you're Buddhism, and then around the world, when I look like this, Buddhism is like everybody, it's something that everybody likes, everybody is happy with, It's, in Buddhism we say that everything is like a choice, If you want to become a Buddhist, it's in your choice. If you want to become enlightened, it's in your choice. Nothing is like you have to do this, you have to do this. If you don't do that, you will fail or you will die or anything like that, Nothing is like ordered. Everything is in your choice, So it's very, very easy for the people to know that. And I think for the monasteries, they should always keep a tradition. We need both. Not all just tradition and all mind becomes really strange, not good. But only the new material way, not good. We need both. We need both equal, so then it goes very well. If one goes a bit higher, it's not good. One goes a bit higher, not good. If both goes low, not good. Both has to stay the same way, equal. So then it goes very well. So I believe they should think that. To have a strong footing in monastery in the West, first, because these days many lamas and butchers are giving lots of big empowerments and that in the West. So that is needed. I think that is very important. But not just empowerments, even the whole entirety of Tibetan tradition. What really Tibetan has, what really Tibetan can show the whole world what they really have, not just like the Potala or that, but we really have, like Tibetan, the whole entirety of Tibetan tradition. I think that's very important too, not just empowerments like that. So that will, I believe, that will make a strong footing for Tibetan tradition and the monastic way.
And are you hopeful for that, Rinpoche, in the West? Are you hopeful for the growth of Tibetan Buddhism in the West?
What do you mean by that?
Do you see it expanding? Do you?
Yes, I see it very expanding, a lot. I think many of the Western students are much clever than the Tibetan students. Because in a way it's quite sad, because the young Tibetan, I don't know about all the people, but some of the young Tibetan students and the people who go to school, like small things like receiving a blessing from a teacher and going to see a lama or doing them or prostrating, it becomes a little like a tradition for them. If I'm not saying, I'm not like criticizing, but they don't know the real meaning of it. They don't know the real meaning of what is the use to have a blessing from a great teacher. What is the use to go to the monasteries and offer things, having offerings and prostrating? What is the really meaning of that? Not just because of my father did it or his father did it, or he's not like a tradition. So I believe in the West, for the West, Buddhism and Tibetan tradition is a very new idea. It is helpful for them. So I believe they are really getting more interesting than the real Tibetan youngsters.
Thank you.